Hey guys, it's been a slow couple of weeks, but I finally got a chance to get back down here in the shop. Since getting the razor weld, I really haven't had a great chance to get down here and do a bunch of fabricating. But as I've been trying to get down here more and more, I've been really wanting to do something. And I wanted to do something new. Sometimes a new project makes me get even more excited about something. I will finish my other projects, I promise. But I wanted to introduce a brand new project. I know I'm starting another one that I'm really kind of excited to work on. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a Moonbuggy chassis. Now, if you're not familiar with a Moonbuggy is something that's used in the competition crawling side of the full-size world. We Rock specifically is the largest one right now, and the buggy that I modeled this design after is Justin Hall's buggy, Team Rock Hard. This was formerly a Campbell buggy, and then Justin and his team rebuilt it a little bit, reshaped it, things like that, just a hair, and now we've got what we see today. Anyway, so I talked with Justin. I met him at We Rock, the Grand Nationals, back in September, and met him then, got a chance to talk to him, and ended up keeping in contact with him a little bit, and I asked him for some pictures of his rig, and then I brought those into CAD and I modeled up the chassis. So since then, I have then created all of my templates of all of my shapes and things like that. Now, I've showed you guys this in the past on some of the in-depth how-to videos that I have on how I do my tube frames. So this one is, it'll be actually my first shot at doing this particular chassis. However, I've already hosted the templates for this chassis on my website, harleydesigns.com. So if you'd like to go download the templates and take a crack at this yourself, feel free. I don't promise that it works yet until I've built my own though. So once I do that, I'll kind of go through and refine the templates to make sure that everything's just how I want it. But that's pretty much all the talk I'm going to do on this. I'm just going to get right into fabricating. A couple of other little details before I do is it's going to be based on a Wraith size chassis, and it was made to be the correct scale to those Wraith axles, tires, wheelbase, that type of thing. So that's the size. It's a pretty large chassis, even though these full-size Moonbuggies are pretty tiny. So this actually came out to be 1/7 scale. So it brings things into a different proportion, which is kind of cool. It'll bring in some more challenges down the road when I'm trying to detail out the inside to make it look just right. So that 3D printer that you may hear in the background right now, it will probably come in pretty handy for some of those little details. But enough of that. I'm going to start looking at my templates and cutting some rod and getting to welding. So let's see what we can get done tonight. Alright, didn't get as far as I'd like to tonight. I actually got to almost the same point once already tonight and then ended up scrapping it and starting over and came to this point. I made some adjustments with how I was fabricating it to make things a little easier. I thought that being asymmetrical would make things much easier to do, but it was actually just the opposite. Being that nothing is the same from one side to the other, to make things work like these two, the main hoops here, well, since they're completely different, it's quite a bit of trouble to get them to line up at the roof line, being that the angles have to match and things like that. I don't know that I would have been able to do it quite as easily if I wouldn't have had the templates, but it was a very big shock compared to what I would have thought it would have been. But so far I'm pretty happy with this second shot at it. And I think that continuing from this point will be a solid base. So from here I do need to build the subframe, which will come down and grab a Wraith skid plate from the back. Before I had thought about going just from the skid plate to the rear section. Now on the full-size buggy there's actually kind of an engine cradle on the rear, since these are a rear engine car. And I'm thinking that I might replicate that to hold my battery. Now, when I get to the actual detailing of this thing out, I would like to try and fit some sort of top half of a motor or something like that back there to give that same shape. And for that, I may decide to 3D print my own. But beyond that, everything's working out pretty well. Now, again, this is a pretty large chassis. It's kind of hard to probably get a great representation of it, but I have the Poison Spider Wraith here to kind of give you a comparison. So, as far as just laying them on top of each other, the width, total width outside to outside, is about identical. As far as overall length, I am quite a bit shorter though. I'm probably, if you include the bumper, I'm probably 5 or 6 inches short. So, a big change there. But you know, there'll be a number of different things that I'll have to fight with this thing to make sure that everything works well. With this one, the shock mounts on this actually go pretty much to the very outsides of the chassis, both front and rear. So that's where that length difference really comes from. Other than that, there's still a lot to do on this thing, but at the same time, there's a lot less tubes on this than just about any of the other chassis that I've been doing lately. So looking forward to getting this thing finished up here fairly soon, at least to a mock-up stage. I have a bunch of projects that I've got to get done here really soon. I've got the G6 coming up here in Missouri in just a few weeks. I've got to get my Matzilla truck finished up for that. I also have to get the Mega Mud truck finished up for that. I've got the crispy chassis I did for a bunch of customers. Those are out of my shop here. Howard's got them. Hopefully he'll get those blasted and painted here and get those out to those guys here this week, I hope, or so. I know we've both been swamped, and I think he's hopefully he'll find time for that. But beyond that Poison Spider Wraith, I've got a new chassis on the way for that, which will be another Matzilla chassis, different than the one that I've showed you before, but a brand new one from him. So look out for that. That is what I'm actually going to be swapping over for the TTC in Utah. I was going to build my own off of that Poison Spider Venom 1, but I just really ran out of time. I know that I've started another one here, but this one is much simpler. However, it really doesn't meet the Class 3 Sorka rules that they say you're supposed to meet TTC. So this was really just something that I wanted to do and not have to worry about too much. That Wraith chassis from Matzilla, I'll be able to come in here, bolt in, get all my stuff in there, and then throw some details at it and things like that, and be rolling much sooner than I think this probably will. But long story not so long, that's what's going on here in the shop, guys. Follow along with yet another project, and I promise I'll finish the other ones soon. But that's all I got for tonight, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.